Good morning and welcome to excuse me, this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Burns, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly online event where we cover anything that may be of interest to librarians across the state and nowadays across the country.
Yep.
Which is awesome. We do these sessions every Wednesday morning live at 10 a.m. Central Time, but they are all recorded, so if you're unable to join us at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays, that's fine. You can go to our website and find all of our recordings there from all of we're in our 4th year now of doing NCompass Live.
Jeez, wow.
Yeah. We do all sorts of sessions here. We do presentations, mini web tours, training sessions, informational sessions, whatever is of interest that's anything vaguely library related. And we have commission staff, library commission staff that do sessions, and we also have guest speakers. And we have a mixture of that, I guess we'll say today. Once a month, usually the final Wednesday, usually it's the last Wednesday of the month, we do our Tech Talk with Michael Sauers. Michael Sauers is the Technology Innovation Librarian here at the Nebraska Library Commission. He just waved, but we're not showing our camera view right now. So.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I'm waving and nobody.
Anyway, he's sitting here right next to me.
Hi.
Something.
Yeah, say something. Okay. Oh.
So, sorry, just had a little technical thing here. So it is our Tech Talk for the month right now. Michael, go ahead and what are you doing this week? This month?
What am I doing this month?
Anyways,
personally,
who he's got, what he's doing.
Personally, I'm doing a lot of e-reader training this month, actually. But for the show today, it might be. Maybe my bookmarks at the end. Anyways, so. As many of you may know, or some of you may not know, we have a lot of new people on this show today. They periodically let me out of Nebraska, and I was at Computers and Libraries a month ago. That was in March, yes. And at these events, get to meet a lot of folks from around the country at other libraries, and I met up with Brian and Dave of the Mokena Community Public Library District in Mokena, Illinois. I believe I am pronouncing that right, correct, guys?
Mokena.
Mokena. Sorry, see, I got, I didn't check about that. Okay. Mokena Community Public Library District, get that straight, in Mokena, Illinois. And we were talking one evening, and they've got a lot of very interesting technology-oriented things going on in their library. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity for them to kind of share with the larger library world what they're doing. I was quite impressed about a couple of the things I heard about, and I know they've got more than I'm already familiar with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let Brian and Dave kind of loose with their PowerPoint here and let them introduce what they're working on, their Evolve project at their library. And I'm sure by the end of that I will have a bunch of questions, and we'll open it up to questions from the audience. So why don't you guys just kind of take it away and let us know what you're doing.
All right, sounds good. Right. How's everyone, or you can answer. So we'll just jump right in.
Yes, go ahead.
So the reason why we started this whole project is Dave and I were asking ourselves, what are the dangers facing libraries? We pointed out that there's books. People are able to get ebooks now from local resources and subscription-based resources starting at like $10. There's also free ebook content out there as well. People are able to access the internet from home, and they can easily get a $30 subscription to do that. And then with reference help, people are able to access a lot of these tools and blogs and free resources to get assistance. So we were asking ourselves the question, why would people want to go to the library? And then we found a little comical little picture there.
So we kind of settled on that we wanted to create more of a experience, a public value, if you will. When you come to the library, it shouldn't be a process of just coming in, checking out a book, and leaving. We wanted to offer various programs, technologies here in the library that's going to help them learn, explore whatever particular subject they're looking at, help them create stories, especially with the younger kids. We don't, with video games and everything else that they can sit in front of for 5 hours, 6 hours a day, we want to get them out of the house, get them back into the libraries, and make it entertaining for them. We're also, we see a shift in the way libraries are going from physical to more digital content.
So we were telling people that we need to get them to evolve into the future.
So we came up with a couple of themes and sub-themes, as you will. We wanted to be innovative. We want to create an interactivity amongst people, and we want them to have them collaborate with each other. So when two kids are in the library, we want them to have an adventure. We don't want them just to come in and check out a book. We want to actually have it where they are, you know, learning as they are going through everything.
So throughout the project, we basically came up with three main themes: innovation, interactivity, and collaboration, with a couple sub-themes such as discovery, adventure, make it engaging, exploration, and educational. You guys, if you guys watch How I Met Your Mother, there's a character called Barney Stinson, and then every time there's a challenge presented, he just goes, challenge accepted. So this whole time throughout this project, we kind of had that like mantra of challenge accepted. Let's find something that no one else has done yet, and let's make it happen. Challenge accepted. So for one of the themes is innovation. Innovation needs to be original and disruptive, meaning in order for this project to be successful, we had to come up with some really innovative ideas that not anyone else is doing or isn't fully involved in. And it usually involves the creation of a better and more effective product, processes, or technology. So the idea is that we better the library in the end.
So with the interactivity and collaboration, you know, it's going to lead to discovery. It's going to help them come up with new ideas, new processes. We're looking to create an engaging environment in our library where, you know, the child's going to not only develop, but it's also going to meet educational needs. I don't know how it is across the rest of the country, but like where we're at currently, our schools are making cutbacks left and right and just trying to slash as many programs as they can. So we were kind of looking at what can we bring in here to kind of help make up for the pitfalls that the education system is dropping right now.
So in the end, we decided to come up with a Fab Lab or a hackerspace or a playground. All these different types of words that are tossed around a lot between libraries. But essentially, we want kids to come in and play. And then through that play, they learn and they want to come back to the library because they're like, wow, that was a really cool toy. I want to come back and see what else I can do. And as a side note, we'll get into this later, all the tech that we're introducing in our library, kids can take home. Nothing's locked down, nothing's secure cabled, nothing has little explosive devices when you walk out, you know, ink bombs or whatever they're called. We wanted it to be 100% open. We wanted them to be comfortable and able to play without the fear of, oh, I might break this, because kids are pretty smart. They don't break things as easily as people let them think they are. So we have a little video here, and when I switch over, I won't be able to talk. Just keep in mind that the volume levels might be a little too loud, so have your mouse ready to change the adjustments. All right, so that was kind of one of our intro videos we made, so people get excited about what we're bringing to the library.
So currently, we already brought in smart tables. We redesigned or designed a multimedia room, and we even brought in laser tag into the library. The smart tables, commonly found in schools, they're interactive touch. You can load any kind of game. You can play Jeopardy on them. I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to these. It's an open source for games. You should log on to their website. You can download whatever you want. You can have up to 8 kids playing, and we actually have worked a deal with our vendor where we have 2 new smart tables coming in, and we currently have 2, but we're going to take our 2 older models, and we're going to basically barcode them and let various schools, preschools, and even other libraries that want to check them out and see if it's a right fit for them, take advantage of it without actually having to go out and buy these right from the start.
For a multimedia room, it's actually a very large combination of various interactive devices. We have an interactive whiteboard called a smartboard. We have clickers that we use for Jeopardy, but you can do quizzes with it with multiple choice, trues and falses. Whoever hits the 1 button first wins. We also have a full DVD, Blu-ray, and sound system with also microphones. And it's easy to use inside. There's a touch panel, and you literally hit on, and you choose what device you want to use, and you're good to go. We typically use this room for Jeopardy, movie nights, presentations, and also we're working on making a board game. Snakes and Ladders can be loaded onto the smart board, and you can spin the spinner, and you can move your characters around, and it's pretty neat. Gives a whole new style for board games.
Going back to laser tag, again, a little reference to How I Met Your Mother. What we did is we picked up various sets of the laser tag guns and brought in a bunch of teams, as you can see from the picture, and let them basically run around the library after it closed on a Friday night playing laser tag with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids, they had a great time. And we actually have now gone, purchased another set, so now we can have 2 games going, so 16 kids running around our 2 floors of our library playing.
There's also different types of games with this laser tag system we put together. You could run out of ammo, so you have to go find the ammo pack. You slap it against the gun, you have new ammo. You can play a game kind of like the Southwestern style, where you get 1 shot, they tell you to walk away, then turn and draw. There's tons of other little variations, so it wouldn't have to be your typical run-around laser tag. You can make it into strategies and field games and that kind of thing. So what makes up the new children's section in the library? This is kind of like the meats and potatoes of the Evolve project.
So the outcomes of the demo design so far, Scipio cubes, which, as you can see in the picture, are these little cubes, but they play various games. We actually showed them off at the conference last month in D.C. Kids picked up on it right away. They could walk up to it. Adults could walk up to it and just start playing right away. Sphero balls, and actually we'll show a picture to you on the next slide, are basically a little ball with a gyro in there that you control from like an iPad or an Android device, where you can, basically you can drive it around. You can set up obstacle courses. You can play golf with it. And what we're looking to do is to kind of do an obstacle course throughout our library, and then tie it in with prizes, basically, and stuff like that.
So in the various, we've made various areas within our children's section. One area we're calling the Creation Station, and all these things can be checked out. In the video, you saw what Lego Education was, those interactive motorized Legos. Really simple to do. You put your Legos together, and then you put the motors on, you plug it into the computer, and in a very easy window, there's literally just arrows, and you choose how you want the thing to move. The Scipio cubes was also in the video. The text got cut off there. Interactive cubes that can sense when the other ones are nearby, and you can build games. You can sort. You can organize by numbers. You can spell from it. You can even play a game called Book of the Penguin, where it's like the water game, where you got to control water through pipes. But in the Book of the Penguin, you're a penguin and you're being chased by a bear, and you have to follow yourself through the maze. We're also letting kids check out science kits and do the science kits, and these Sphero balls for them just to play around with. So why a Creation Station? Creation allows children to learn new and exciting ways. The idea of by doing you learn. This is kind of where the Creation Station came from, and this would encourage more people to come into the library. A lot of dads like science as target market there, and so we can get dads to come in with their kids and just play around with the science kits. And for the design concept, we're basically just having 5 touchscreen computers mounted to the wall with all the necessary hookups and let people just come in, sit down, play, no questions, just have fun.
Gaming stations we decided to mount an Xbox 360 Connect and a Wii. We already circulate these games through our library, so we just figured we would have permanent setups here, so if kids wanted to come in, they could go down, they could play, and basically not, have something to do instead of just hanging out. We're not going to put time limits on it. We want kids to interact with each other and kind of share and learn that, you can't just hog, basically. We have a little soundproofing behind it. There are felt barriers or seating in front of it. So it's kind of their own little enclosed space where, they can be kids without everyone just sitting there watching them. So why did we want the gaming stations? We wanted to attract a new target audience. We wanted to get more kids in here who might necessarily just sat at home instead of coming in and seeing what else we had to offer. Obviously, with the economy, it makes it harder for kids to experience gamification, which is basically allowing them to use game design to learn how to solve problems and engage them. Video games, they're not. It's not Pong anymore. They're stories, and they're well-detailed stories, and kids are familiar with them.
Another section we're putting together is called the Menagerie. Menagerie is zoo, so we added the E to kind of play on words. It will contain various tablets, various iPads, various different e-readers, such as the Kindle, Nook, and Sony Reader. And we're going to have fact sheets about each of these technologies. Why were we doing it? Because it's low pressure, no sale environment. We want people just to walk up and play with it. Again, it's not going to be locked down. And I know that's a big thing with some people. We're like, no, we just want people to feel comfortable and pick it up and play. These things lead to discovery of new technology and let people make comparisons. We do circ e-readers now, and so this is kind of going to get, so if they're all out and somebody wants to see what they are, we can't really show them. So this would be like an in-place for backup. Basically, it goes, oh hey, we have them all checked out. Go downstairs and you can play with all the different ones. You can decide which one you like the most, and it's a great community addition.
The Open Play Coliseum is basically a redesign of what was commonly known as our activity/story room. But what we want, instead of having set story times, what we want to be able to do is have it where if mom, dad, grandma, grandpa can't make it in at that certain time, but they can make it in at 7 o'clock at night, they're going to be able to come in and basically run with the story. They can play the movie if there's one attached to it. They can do the craft because it'll all be set up, out in the open for them to play with. And then on the other half of this room, we're putting an imagination board, which is, it's going to have a little webcam, and basically it's going to allow the kids to do book reviews on the books they just read. And then, once they do that, we'll make sure that the review is nice and clean, and then we're going to turn it into a QR code and slap it onto that book. So then when they're out in the stacks, we're going to have these portable Android devices for sitting on the shelves for a couple of different reasons. But a kid could go and scan that barcode, and then they're going to see that review play for them right there in the stacks.
So it'll be like a self-driven environment then. So you'll see more reviews. Kids will get excited, the peer review thing, and we feel that's going to be very, very good with kids. So why are we doing the Open Play Coliseum? It encourages creativity. The review board also allows children to tell other children in their own words what they think of a book. For instance, oh, I read this book. It was about Clifford. Clifford's my favorite dog. This was the best story because he found the bone, and it was funny. Doing crafts all day. They're always fun, engaging, and helps children learn. The whiteboard we have allows for fun and interaction. Just paint or draw what you're thinking. The building review with video is helping for a child's development also because they're telling a story. And with the story our all-day motto, it allows people to come in whenever, regardless of their work schedule, and participate in what would be usually self-assigned story time. So at 6 o'clock, they're like, oh, you know what, next video is showing. Hey, kids, do you want to go see the story at the library? And that would encourage people more to come in. And finally, the last piece of the art gallery, it will allow children to express themselves and take pride in their work, and people can check it out if the child opts out to that. So it's kind of that like self-publication, then they would feel like they should paint some more or make another craft, and it'll build that.
Our computer lab, we're redesigning a little bit. As the picture will show you, we're going to flip it desk. We are limited on space, obviously. So what this is allowing us to do is when the computer's not in use, you can basically fold it down to a flat work table for if a kid needs to do homework or if he wants to draw or read a book. Just giving us more options on what we can do with our computer area. Music stations, which we have a fish room, so to speak, where we have this big 125-gallon fish tank, and parents just love going in there. And it's kind of like a relaxing area. You can read in there, do what you want. So we're putting in 5 of these music chairs, and we're going to have it where you're obviously going to have the tablets to live stream music in and listen to what you want while you're in there relaxing or reading a book. And then on the floor, there's going to be all these various combinations of cushions and chairs that they can rearrange in whatever format they want. And every time they come in, they can do it differently.
Mm-hmm. Now we're also putting in a system called AmpJuke. It's an open source music library system where people could log in and stream music and make their own playlists. And it's 100% free. We just have to provide the music for it.
The reason why we wanted to do this is obviously it's fun. It's going to allow kids to interact with each other. Hey, what are you listening to? You know, this is what I'm listening to. Schools are cutting music programs. This is going to allow them to still be open to various music that's out there. It promotes the arts. Music's an exploration. As they're interacting with other kids in there, they might discover new music that they weren't listening to initially. And in our community, at least, it's a big interest, is music in general.
With the children's collection, one of our popular things that a lot of libraries are interested about are these things that we're calling interactive bookends. And we're still building it. It's going to be a tablet that will basically have different icons on it. One icon will allow you to check out your books straight from the shelf. So you have your books, you go to the interactive bookend, and you hit check out, and you hold your card up, and then you hold your books up, and you're good to go. So instead of seeing the old typical plaques that say, author name this to author name that, we're scrapping that and just doing tablets. The tablets will, in sleep mode, will display that, but then when they walk up to it and interact, it changes. They can also, they can also do the book reviews, see what other kids are doing, and most importantly, they can kind of search for other content. So there was a book about bears, and they held it up to the reader. Then they can see videos about bears too and kind of reinforce ideas and concepts.
We're also going to merge our easy readers with our junior books. We find, at least here with us, is a lot of kids kind of, jump back and forth between the sections. So now we're still going to maintain the labeling, but we're just going to have them interfiled with each other so they don't have to sit there and run around through the collection.
And lastly, the child-friendly shelves, the bin style. Basically, instead of seeing the spine of the books, you're going to see the face of the books. Because kids, if you watch them in the library, they usually take out all the books and then just look at the covers. They judge the book by a cover, and you really have to play with that. And so we worked on getting bin style so kids can flip through them versus pulling them out and looking at the covers. So they're cover facing.
So our workflow environment, we're shortening our desk down there. We're adding a self-checkout unit. Kids and even, parents who are in a hurry, they love the self-checkout. They can come up, scan your book, and they're on their way. We're also, with the mobile checkout, it's going to work 2 ways. We're going to have it where we have our interactive tablets on the end that they can pick up and they can use. But there's also going to be an app on, their Android or iPhone where, they can just open the app and check out as they're going. Standing help desk, basically it's just, our circulation or pages that are down there that can, walk around the floor, help you with whatever you need, whether it's the technology, finding books, etc. And go ahead.
And so that's pretty much it. If you wanted to contact us, if you had any questions or anything like that, our emails are listed, our phone numbers, and also our Twitter handle is the first one listed there. So if you have any questions or anything about what we talked about, if you need to get in contact with people that we're buying some of the products with, feel free to give us a shout out. And I'm going to give.
No, just leave it there.
Yeah, go ahead and leave it there. We'll
leave it there.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We might make you show us stuff.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, great guys. That was amazing. And was listening carefully. When I tend to do these shows and I get people on the call, I sometimes intentionally don't want to know exactly what you're going to say, so that way I can come up with really good questions while we're in. So and I've got a page full. So let's see how well this goes here. And for those of you listening live, excuse me, feel free to type in the questions or raise your hand. We will always take audience questions over mine any day. And Krista probably has one or two also. So, okay, let's start with a little more basic question for those people who are not familiar with your area. Can you give us a little bit about your library, pop serve, staffing, general budget, anything you can kind of give us about that, just to kind of give us a little bit of context?
Oh yeah, definitely. We are in a suburban town. We have about 20,000 population served. But what's unique about our town is the way they have the town lines. So there's a town next to us called Frankfort. Part of Frankfort goes to our library. There's a town next to us called New Lenox. Part of Mokena goes to New Lenox. And so in this weird mix, we actually have ended up drawing people from Frankfort into our library, like actual Frankfort library holders, actual New Lenox library holders. So we already do draw in a lot of different people. Staff-wise, we are just under 50 employees, I believe.
Right.
And we're trying to get most of this funded through our vendors, and so they're giving us big price breaks and everything like that too, just to help us out because they feel strong with the project.
We get them excited about our projects is what we're doing basically.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to pricing, we can, we get a little bit of a leeway with what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, funding was definitely one of the questions. So I'll just kind of jump to that. You just kind of alluded to you're trying to get your vendors to give you discounts. How kind of backing off of that and leading back into it a little bit. How did you get the funding, the support? Administration, the board. Kind of what was the process to getting this thing going?
Okay, so after me and Brian kind of worked up the initial plan, we kind of talked to the head of the department down there and, our director, got them on board, and then basically went and did a song and dance, so to speak, for our board.
We did a few before, too, just trying to get the board excited. Then we went back to the head of the department and the director, our executive director, and we went back to the board and basically did the song and dance. So like, hey, this is all the cool stuff we can do, and move forward with it.
And then with regards to the vendors, as we'd contact them, we'd keep talking with them, get them excited, say, hey, this is what we're looking to get from you, what can you do for me? They'd give us a price, and then basically having a sales background myself was, we just kind of sit there and go back and forth, and I think we're right around, getting anything from 45 to 65% off, depending on what it is.
Yeah. We have a vendor of ours donating board games too, just because they're like, well, we don't have anything technology related, but we got board games. Do you want them? And so the approach we took was we sold it to all of our vendors as best as we could. We went out on the internet and talked about it. Siftio and Sphero helped out with trying to give us a little bit better pricing, and so they were like, that's really cool. We didn't do libraries. We didn't even think about libraries. And people, for those that are listening, vendors don't think about libraries. Like, for whatever reason, they're like, oh.
They're non-existent for the most part to them.
So if you talk about the fact that you're going to circulate and check out, and then you can hint that, you know what, if my patron really likes it, they might buy it. And that usually sends the flag in for the vendors, and they go, oh, really? So now this is kind of like their idea that they're going to market then, because they're passing out circulated items.
Free marketing so is how we kind of spin it with them.
And so basically what the presentations you guys saw is the watered down version we gave to the board. So basically we make a PowerPoint presentation for those that want to duplicate it, make a PowerPoint presentation and load it up with pictures, cool graphics, and kind of backed up research. As an aside, like for having the different kind of style bins for children, your collection will increase by 20%, according to the statistics that we found. With technology, kids love technology. Statistically, if you give a kid a laptop, he's going to handle it better than an adult, and I guarantee that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'll just comment on one of the things you said about, the back and forth with the vendors. Another comment I heard from somebody who was new to libraries but had a business background back at CIL was commenting on how bad librarians are at negotiation. And it sounds like you guys are basically saying, here's what we want. What are you going to do for us? And then instead of just accepting their answer, coming back and saying, okay, well, that's nice, but how about this?
Exactly.
And working with vendors, you say vendors, and I immediately think of the vendors that work with libraries all the time, and you guys are really going outside of that and finding completely different companies to work with and organizations.
And that's what libraries need to do, think outside their boxes.
Yeah. What sort, which leads me to this question, using any one of your platforms, what sort of this equipment provided by or credit back to the company that you got it from, do you give the company? Did that question make sense?
Okay, so yeah, basically, well, in the Siftio and Sphero example, the credit was basically, hey, you know what? In any presentation we do, we'll thank you for it, and that's kind of, they're like, oh, okay, so you're gonna show people what we've done. We're like, oh yeah, heck yeah, because this is like really, really cool, and the libraries and kids will both love it. Even when we were demoing it with the children, they're like, can we check this out? They were like, not yet. We still got to work out some kinks. We're like, well, can I be on a list? Like, I never saw I could get excited about checking something out until like this technology thing. Right. And so yeah, so basically it's kind of just like that word of mouth exchange. Some of our other vendors, we have one of them helping us with our wireless network, and so they donated some funds basically to go towards this project. And in exchange, since they help with the wireless network, said, hey, give me a window sticker. I'll post a window sticker on my window, and you guys help fund the Evolve project. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Yep. And looking even further into the future, we're trying to get Sony Records to pay for a recording studio. And if they do that, we're going to let them name the recording studio as Sony Records Mokena's recording studio. Like, it doesn't bother us because, it's just a name, but the vendor, or in this example, the Sony Records, they would love to have their name somewhere.
Or another good example, too, is with our smart tables. Basically, we went back to the vendor where we had the two. They're giving us two new ones, and, we told them, hey, along with, our name on the circulating ones, we'll have your information on there. So if these other libraries or schools or whatnot want to call you, they'll have that information. And basically, so, on that one alone, it was basically $12,000 of free equipment that we got.
Mm-hmm. We also did get grants for it, for the smart tables. And the way, it's sad to know this, but apparently schools get better pricing than libraries, even though we kind of both educate. And so we really push, probably too hard, about that, hey, you know what, you can give us education pricing. And they're like, no, you're a government. No, we're like the school. We're next to the school. Come on. And so after enough arguing, they usually just give in, essentially. And so for all the people that are listening, then say, hey, you know what do you give the pricing for schools? And they're like, better. And then you're like, all right, I want that pricing. Because, well, you can't. And you just fight for it. And sooner or later, someone has to win. And if you fight hard enough, you'll win. Yep. They want to sell their product is the bottom line. And if you can make them sell it to you at a better price, then it's a win-win.
Some commission for them is better than no commission. Yeah.
I am not going to disagree with you guys at all, and I think if there's a moral to this episode, it's stick up for yourself and argue with them and demand better pricing. Yeah, exactly. Something's better than nothing. So Great. Okay, let me completely kind of way back off from what you're doing, and this is a question where I can kind of assume an answer, but I don't want to.
Okay.
You've definitely focused this project on the kids. In some cases, adults may benefit from this, but you've really got that focus of, let's get them young, I guess. So how and or why did that happen? Because you obviously have that focus. What was kind of the thought process behind that?
Our library is 2 floors. We have the main floor is kind of where all the adults hang out, and the lower floor is where the kids hang out. And during the day and during the evening, sometimes it's kind of empty. So we're like, well, how can we get them to come? And so we basically this project is just focusing on the lower level right now. And so the idea is just to pound it with so much cool stuff. The kid has to be a fool not to want to check it, at least come by and see what we have. And then by that, as they get older, they'll be familiar with the library. Like, oh yeah, they got some really cool stuff.
And after we finish downstairs, we're going to then look, at upgrading and updating our adult teen area, so to speak. So we basically just kind of had to break the project into 2, and we just chose, for the reasons Brian said, to focus on the children's area first.
Because they're the easiest to gimmick. Like when Christmas comes around, you have all those those commercials about toys, and then the parents are being dragged to the store. So in reverse, or in the same way, we're going to just get the kids so excited about coming to the library, they're going to drag their parents to the library. And so it'll benefit, like we will get parents. If we focus just on the parents first, then we're not going to really necessarily get the kids. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was sort of expecting you to say, but and that's good. Grab them while they can. They'll drive things. Quick, you made a comment, and I know this. You probably had this question before, and it will come up with other folks about the loss and or damage issues. You said you haven't really had any, and that's great. And you're checking this stuff out. What sort of policies do you have, if any, to deal with kind of loss or damage of checking out this technology?
We basically just made a simple waiver saying that we require the patron to sign off on, saying if you break or damage it, you're responsible for the full replacement cost. We keep it really simple. No one's ever objected to it. They understand. They're more than willing, at least in our area, to just sign off on it, and
Now there are people that are like, well, what if they do break it? What if they steal it? What if they just put it in their pocket and walk out? And it's like, if we had that concern, then we would lock up our books too, because somebody can take a book, rip out the pages. Somebody can take a DVD out of the case, crack it in half. So we would have to lock everything down. We're like, no, let's keep the open philosophy going. And the idea is, if it breaks, it breaks. Like a tablet, we got them for $250 a piece from OneSale a day. The laser tag games, we got them for $60 for a set of 2 plus the antenna plus some accessories.
And they're normally like $400 kits.
Like $160 if you wanted the full set. It's quite expensive. So OneSale a day in Woots.
Yep.
big price differences.
Definitely.
So like Brian mentioned with Woot, OneSale, just looking, again, outside of your normal channels of who you would normally go to for, your needs. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Woot and OneSale. You might have even used it, for your personal electronics, but it's a great resource to get great technology into your library at a greatly reduced cost.
As an aside note, OneSale a day donates 50% of their profits every year to different organizations. So right now we're pushing just to donate some technology to us. So keep that in mind for people that are trying to find funding. It's a lot harder. There's a library near us called Waukegan Public Library, and what they've done was every year they go out to a really big company, not a vendor, a company, and right now their library is being funded by, I think, Northern Illinois Gas Company. And so what they do is every year they redesign the library, basically, and one of the companies will fund it. They'll put in a couple $100,000, they redesign it, and it's a different theme. So this year's theme is, I think, bugs. Last year's theme was fish, funded by like ComEd or something. So It's possible, and you just have to find the right people and fight for it. It's very, very possible. Libraries are actually, after you mention it to someone, it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool.
I will assume then if you're buying things from like OneSale a day and Woot, where the deal and the merchandise is available today and today only, buy it or you're out of luck, that
Correct.
You've kind of dealt with the bureaucracy of we need to buy this today.
Yeah, we're fortunate. Our executive director is very willing to work with us when we come to her and say, hey, we can save 50, 60%, whatever the case may be, and this is why we need it. Can we go ahead and do it? And I don't think we've ever gotten really a no.
Yeah, and the other thing too is when we put our project together, we're asking for small amounts of money as we go along. So basically, to initially start this project, it was only $1,500 or $15,000, and so we bought a ton of these technologies. As soon as we saw it on OneSale day, we grabbed it. We saw a couple computers, we grabbed it. We saw some other things, we grabbed it. And so basically by that, we already had the money then. We got the board to approve $15,000 so we can go out and purchase things. And so we kind of had like an account then set up.
Great. So we just reminder to the audience, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them. I know I'm going to have plenty to fill the time, but please make me stop talking.
Yeah, we want to know what you want to ask of Brian and Dave. Yeah.
Mike, there's a website for this project that we were
Yes.
kind of looking at, and this is we'll have you show us something if you could bring that up. Can you? So it looks like. Well, tell us about the website. What is the idea behind this? I don't want to make assumptions for the audience.
The idea behind this is, and I know we haven't wrote an article in like a month, but we've been pretty busy.
Yeah.
But the idea is every time, as we go along with this project, all the ups and downs, we kind of wanted a plot. And so if another library basically wanted to copy us, they go to our website, they go to the blog, and they can just print out all the blog posts. For instance, we did a review on Siftio. And when we did this, we kind of got some help from Siftio on better pricing. And so we wrote an article about what is Siftio, how it works, dynamics, how was it setting it up, what are the plans in the future, and I still haven't done that, but I need we took screenshots of the install and screenshots of us or pictures of us opening them all up. It's 100% documented, and the idea is to help other libraries then, so they don't have, because we originally were going to go with an architect to kind of put this project together with all the tech, and he said it's going to be $10,000 to start and then get us prices. We're like, what? So we're going to give you $10,000 for you to tell us what the cost will be? And so basically this whole concept is we're going to put what we did, our thought process, so you don't have to pay someone $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to tell you what you need.
And we also just wanted to, along with it then, if people had questions, it's a quick, easy way to contact us and say, hey, how did you overcome this? Or, I saw you did this wrong. What happened there? And just, basically make everything, very readily available. I think, libraries going forward, we need to work as a team, share more ideas, share more, just share more in general.
And then also too, we also invite libraries to email us floor plans. I'm like, hey, do you have any suggestions? Like on the weekend, I really don't do much, and so it kind of gives me and Dave something to do. And we like to be active, and so we always want to help out, and then we get that reference or contact. So later on, if we go, hey, you know what, we need some assistance on a project, let's see what the other library did with their project, and we compare and take notes and basically build all libraries to hold together, because let's face it, libraries can become extinct. In Chicago, they closed, I don't know how many, it was like 20, 30?
Something like that.
Libraries.
Hours.
And they're like, boom, done. And it's like, oh, crap, that could be one of us. So if we all work together on showing what else we can do, we'll survive and we'll even flourish.
Yeah, I think that, we're all in this together.
So that's kind of what the whole site's about.
Yeah, and I like that.
Right.
That's awesome. We're all in this together, and like you said, we don't have to depend and be beholden to those vendors. Share what we're all doing. Librarians are all about sharing anyways. We've been doing it. That's what
the show is about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Why not? Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah.
All right, so here's my last question, and it's pretty darn open-ended. You've already mentioned the recording studio, which I just get that.
Sony, oh my god.
Yeah, get that going. I'll come visit. What's next? What's the plan for the future here? Yeah.
Plan for the right now, we got in contact with Google, and they're having one of their camera crews come out and doing a virtual tour for our library. Typically, the cost I think starts at $750, and then as you go forward for every turn, it's an extra $50 or $100. So basically, we're getting the entire library done for $300, simply because they like the idea.
Right.
Okay.
So they'll take the pictures. They'll send out the equipment. They will.
Wait, getting what done for $300?
The virtual tour from Google.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Our jaws are just hitting the table, so we're interrupting you. Wow. Okay.
Do you guys know what Google Street View is?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. They're just driving.
Okay, so
actually, in the last couple of months, the cars going around here got like crazy.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right.
So they've recently done the White House. I don't know if you guys heard, but they did a virtual tour of the White House. That was like one of they're now going inside buildings, inside businesses. And basically the idea is so you can drive along, you can see a building that's been Google Street Viewed, you can go drive into the building and walk around and see things. So basically that's what we're having done. So it'll be just like Google Street View, but you can see shelves and you'll see all the technology. Everything will be tagged.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Going forward with that.
Please, once that's
it's really easy to do.
Yeah, once that's up, please email us.
Also, you can get the tour. No, you guys are forced to come out.
All right, continue. Sorry, we're just.
No, it's fine. We're also working. Then after that's complete, the idea is we're going to have a kiosk, and we'll have an AI. We're using sitepal.com. It's really easy. It's on the pricier side, but you can create a virtual AI. Basically, you can come up to it, ask it a question, and it'll answer it for you. And it's no programming work whatsoever, minus the questions.
Yeah, just adding in the questions and answers.
The other thing is, then with that, so we're going to tie it into the virtual tours. So you can go up to it and go, hey, where are the Scipio cubes? Up pops the map, and you can see what the direction will be to get to it. Because we're going to try to map the library then, so have a location starting and end, and get there like you would for directions on the street. The second thing we're doing, or third thing we're doing from that is we want to build an augmented reality environment. There's a company called Layers. It's an Android developed app, I believe. I think it's on an Apple or the iOS too. What Layers is, it allows you to build your augmented reality. And so you hold up your camera phone window, and you'll see it just normal. Then when you turn on the augmented reality, if you will, you'll see a layer. And so if we played laser tag the other day, it'll be like, hey, check out what we did the other day. You hold up your phone, you hit the augmented reality tool, and you can see kids playing laser tag. You'll see the pictures from the laser tag. There will be an update in the future where you can play video in this augmented reality environment. And so that would be a self-advertising tool then. So people would come in, be like, oh, crap, how is laser tag? They can pull up the camera viewer and see how it worked. They can also see the different sections with pictures and photographs.
We're also working with this one artist from Sweden, was it?
Yes.
Where basically it projects an animal image onto a mirror, and then when you walk up to it, the image on the mirror reacts to your facial expression. So if you show surprise, like the dog in the mirror shows surprise. If you smile, it smiles.
I can show you that in a second.
Yeah, that quick.
Yeah, keep on talking.
And then we're also going to take Kinect technology from Microsoft and have it projecting onto a screen as well, where basically takes your skeleton, and then you can play various games as well in just a different area from our normal gaming area. What else were we?
Interactive PowerPoints, touchless interactive PowerPoints. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the current things we're working on. Nothing else, I think, other than that. This project is pretty big.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm looking for the interactive. It's called. Can we cut out there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so with this, let's do it this way, Dayton University. So Dayton University has this interactive wall. flight phase.
So with this interactive wall that Dayton University has, basically we saw it, we said, wow, this is really cool. So we found who the artist was, and we just basically called her up and said, hey, this is the project, we have going on. We love what you did. Obviously Dayton probably has this, their thing, copyrighted or whatnot, but what can we do? And so she brought up her, for example, like the dog face or animal face, because it's various animals where the kids can do the facial recognition and whatnot. So I think Brian.
So here's the interactive wall that her name is Caroline, and she made this interactive wall that would basically use connects. And as you walk past this wall, these cubes change and they see pictures. The idea is that one person can't see all the pictures on their own. They got to get a group together. And as a group moves around and interacts without touching it, more pictures will show, more videos will show. And we're trying to take one of those approaches as well, where we could kind of get people to interact. So her name is Carolina, and she made all these really cool different things. And so we're trying to get her to donate the interactive mirror. Bear with me here. It's a lot, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's very, very cool. The idea is that you stand in front of a mirror, and an animal face appears. And based off your facial expressions, the animal reacts with you streamlessly. And essentially, we asked her if she could send us the details and help us build it. She said sure. She couldn't do the Dayton University wall, but she could do this one. And so the idea then we have in the future then is every so often we'll do a different type of interactive art or a different type of technology that's really expensive, but we're able to borrow it for a few days or for a month or 6 months. And so we kind of want to always make it different, and just by asking artists, graphical artists, and technology people to help us out. Mm-hmm. We also have interns from a local university helping us do some programming work too.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that one of the other big takeaways from this whole session is think big. Don't be afraid to ask. Just go to Google, go to Sony, go to whatever, and just ask. I mean, I think one of the big things about libraries is everyone loves the library. They remember it from when they were kids. They want to help it. And when you say you're from the library, immediately, warm, fuzzy feelings start happening to them, and you've got them. But
yes, exactly.
It doesn't hurt to ask. You never know.
Right.
Just go for it and see what happens.
You won't get it if you don't ask. So, and if you ask, you might get it. So
the worst that can happen is you're still at square one. So
you have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience or comments from the audience?
No. Anybody have anything?
I think we got at least one other comment coming through saying they want to come visit.
Oh, yeah, someone else says that, wow, about the whole Google thing, and they may have to do a road trip from there. And they're from Georgia, so.
Oh, there you go.
Cool.
And we will, for those of you who've been trying to, we've thrown a couple extra websites in that. We track all this. We'll bookmark it. We'll put it up with the recording, so you'll be able to find all of these resources. We'll work with their presenters after the fact and get all these links put up. So, Brian, Dave, I want to thank you so much for this. This was amazing. This was
better than we would.
Yeah, but I want to say better than we expected in that, I talked to you briefly and we talked to you online, and I mean, just some of these things that I had no idea you were working on, and it's spectacular, and I wish you all the luck, and I'll be watching the website to see what else you're doing, and I expect you guys to submit presentations to conferences on this stuff. You really need to be showing this stuff off as big as you can. So hopefully I will see you in Monterey this fall. I think you really need to be presenting.
Yeah, we should be doing a few. We're talking with Steven about doing laser tag. So we're going to bring our entire laser tag set and play laser tag.
Cool.
Okay, all right, we're in. Sign us up. I have never actually played laser tag. I need to do that.
What? Oh, this laser tag, you guys never...
I'm familiar with it. I've just never actually done it.
We actually have a laser tag place here in Lincoln.
Yeah,
that I've played at.
It works
You should
just
check it out.
the same way.
Yeah.
Like, we have a scoreboard. It keeps track of who's shooting who, how many shots you fired, who got hit the most. It's very, very cool.
Wonderful.
It's a work-related seminar, right? Laser tag?
Oh, yeah. That's
It teaches teamwork and leadership and ducking.
Exactly.
ducking.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and take control back. We got just a few more minutes. of kind of wrap up, and I've got some sites I'm going to share. So, yeah, guys, thank you. Now we can take it from here. So we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're good. Okay. So yeah, just one last thanks to Brian and Dave. That was really wonderful. I'm glad when I can be surprised about what people are doing in that. So as we usually do with Tech Talk, I just want to spend about 5 more minutes here kind of pointing you to some news and events that have come out. Again, all of these links will be provided with the recording, so you don't need to start writing down lots of URLs. But just a couple of quick things. Some of this even just happened yesterday. One I want to show you real quick here is Kindle has a page. For those of you who are familiar with Kindles, if you highlight things, those things can be made public. It doesn't necessarily say who highlighted exactly what, but Kindle does keep track in general of what people have highlighted. And these are the most highlighted passages of all time on the Kindle. And I'm not going to necessarily judge, but it is a very interesting piece of data that you might want to take a look at. It turns out Something from Catching Fire from the Hunger Games is actually the #1 most highlighted passages of all Kindle books
at the
so
moment,
far.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So you can just kind of get an idea of what people are interested in, different things like that. For those of you who might think maybe there's not enough noise in your libraries, there are USB typewriters that you can hook up instead of a keyboard to your computers.
Why?
And I don't know. Some people like typewriters.
Oh, okay.
Some people want to cause noise. This is just fun. I found this yesterday. I thought, hook up an old Underwood typewriter to your monitor and your mouse. So, anyways,
I like the green one.
There's that. Yeah, the little. Oh, yeah, the Underwood, the really more old style.
Okay.
So, I don't think you have to change the ribbon. So, look at it that way, right? Yeah, exactly. So, okay, a little more seriously, some technology news. These next 2 things happened literally yesterday. Yeah. Google has put out its G Drive, which it has been talking about. If you're familiar with Dropbox or Walla or Box.net, kind of online cloud storage, Google put out theirs yesterday. It really kind of works right into Google Docs. But you can also have desktop syncing with this. So now my Google Docs are also synced to my desktop. I literally set it up yesterday. I've not had a lot of chance to play with it, but if you're kind of Google-centric and looking for free 5 gigabytes of online storage, or looking for yet more online storage, you can also pay for more if you want. But Google Drive did officially come out yesterday. It's been talked about for a couple of years now, so something you might want to take a look at. Also from the ebook world, this was the news of the day yesterday. Woo! Tor and Forge, Tor being one of the largest science fiction publishers in the United States and also in the UK, are going to this summer be going completely DRM free. They are going to be selling their books without digital rights management on it, and they are looking to only sell their content through stores that offer DRM-free content. So this gets a little interesting because I know Amazon pretty much refuses to sell content without DRM. So I don't know if Tor books are going to suddenly disappear from Kindles or new books anyways, or for purchasing. Not anything you purchased already won't disappear. Don't get me wrong there. Tor books are already not available through Overdrive, so one might make a point that this does not indicate that they will become available through Overdrive, because Overdrive does use DRM. But big news from the ebook world and the DRM world that one major publisher here, a division of Macmillan, I do believe, will be going DRM free. So I kind of predicted when Harry Potter went DRM free that publishers would start following, and this is the first one. So we'll see where it goes from here. The other piece of technology that I'm just going to show you real briefly here, this is called the Raspberry Pi. Oh, yes. This is a very, very small, full-blown computer. Let's see if the somewhere in here is going to be a picture of this thing. It doesn't even come with a case. It is a very small circuit board, and it kind of looks like this. There's a diagram of it. It does video. It does high-definition audio, high-definition video. Has a couple of VGA ports on an SD card slot. You plug it in. It will run multiple variations of Linux out there, And so you could have this as a kind of full-blown television computer, a home theater PC, something like that. Why am I talking about this? Why is this interesting? Because basically this thing costs you $35. It's super cheap. It's a full-blown computer. 35? I thought it said 25. Well,
or is there something else?
They're being made in the UK, so it's usually by the time you add shipping and everything else, it's going to cost you more like $35 than $25. But somewhere definitely under 50. So I'm on the waiting list. I didn't get my order in fast enough to get the first batch. So as soon as more become available, they'll let me know that I can order mine. So just a kind of an interesting little piece of technology that you might want to be aware of. And, this is the sort of small-end technology that you could, think about what you could do with a computer that's about as big as an Altoids tin and go from there. So, all right, so that's my news that I wanted to share at the end of our show here. So I think that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I just have one thing from actually from Dave, one of our speakers, when you're talking about the USB typewriters.
Yep.
A link to USB monitors.
Okay. Yes.
Specifically, USB powered portable monitors.
Yep. Yep.
You can just Google it, USB powered portable monitors, and they're on Amazon. Basically, you don't need a power cord or anything. You just plug it into the USB port, and if you're looking for like a quickie, easy way to do a dual monitor setup or something on your laptop.
Yep.
And you can have here's a 16-inch one I found here.
Yeah, here's a 7-inch one. They're kind of designed as like supplementary monitors.
Yeah. Some comments about them sucking power because it's using the power from your laptop, but if your standard is to keep it plugged in anyway.
Right. Or like the example I've heard for these is connecting them to a desktop. Mm-hmm. And so, like, you can watch Twitter on the separate little screen here, but get your work done on your full-size monitor and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's like a supplementary monitor.
I've never heard of it before. That's very cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for that, Dave.
Yeah. Bring up our upcoming shows here, and I'll hand it back to Krista.
Great. Thank you very much, Michael. And Dave and Brian, that was an awesome presentation,
yes.
as usual. Yes, great. I hope you'll join us next week when our NCompass Live is about, as you can see here, if you want to click, the digital resources of the National Library of Medicine. Marty McGee, who is our liaison to the National Network Libraries of Medicine, is going to talk us about some of the digital resources online that you can find and use for anything medical related, things for yourself, or obviously, of course, to help your patrons with any of their health related desires, issues, interests,
I'll throw in too. I'll plug my own. I'll plug Tech Talk because the next Tech Talk we already know who that's going to be, and you can find that out on the website. Don't want to give you too much. You're librarians. You can go find it. But it's not up there yet.
Well, no, it's on the calendar, but the description
is not. It will be up shortly, but I will tease with if you are interested in ebooks and e-publishing, and or if you are any sort of person who might be interested in writing and or e-publishing. This is something, a little project going on with some librarians that you might want to take a look into. So a description will probably be up in the next week or so. We need to work with our presenters to get a good description there. But no, I'm just going to tease them. And,
May 30th. That's
May 30th.
We know
keep an eye on that. So
it is on the calendar, but the description.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right then. That will wrap it up. Doesn't look like there's any other questions or comments that have come in. We are good for today. Thank you very much to our presenters and to everyone who attended. We hope you'll join us next week and for our future shows.
Great.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.